Hello students, let's start another chapter, class 5 EVS, safety and first aid. Very informative chapter for day-to-day life also. We need to be careful. We should know about the safety and first aid. Okay, let's start. Be it home, school, road or playground. We should always be careful and act responsibly. Sometimes even a little careless attitude can lead to major accidents. So it is very important for all of us to follow safety rules and stay safe. So we start here in this chapter. First is the fire safety. Okay. Okay. So fires can result from electric wire faults, gas leaks, fireworks and accidents with flammable substances. Now what are flammable substances which catch fire easily? Now, whenever we need to be very careful regarding fire. So, what are the safety tips which we can follow on day-to-day basis? Avoid playing with matches or lighters. Let adults use and see, especially at the time of Diwali. Children have a habit of burning firecrackers. Let me do it. I can do it. But it happens sometimes. Even the small firecrackers they can burst in your hand, leading to burns. So you have to be very careful. Report a fire or smoke to adults immediately. Stay away from gas stoves and never play near them. Install smoke detectors and respond seriously to alarms. Regularly check and replace damaged gas pipes. If there is a gas leak, open windows and doors. Avoid using matchstick, lighters and switches. Now you know why? See, whenever there is a gas leak, we use gas cylinders in our homes for cooking purpose. See, this gas is very flammable. When it enters inside the home, the first thing to do is we should open the window so that the gas goes out and mixes with the atmospheric air and it gets diluted. Even if there is a small spark in the house and the room is filled with the gas, the entire room will catch fire. Right. So that is why the first thing is you should always open the windows and doors. Never use any switch. See, whenever you are switching on or switching off, what happens is that there are certain slightest of the sparks also which come out from those switches during on or off. Maybe the switch is defective, which is not visible when you are switching it on. But if the room is filled with the gas, it will become a fireball. So never use any matchstick lighter, especially in case of gas leak. Wear cotton clothes while cooking as cotton is less likely to catch fire. That is why it is always said in the kitchen or during Diwali or any type of thing. Especially I would recommend whenever you are going to, even for birthday parties, if you are using those, those fancy candles or which have those sparkles, avoid using all those type of things. Though it looks very beautiful and pretty, those lightings and all, but if it lands on a flammable object, if you are wearing synthetic clothes, it will catch fire. Turn off the main power supply in case of electric sparks. Yes, we are going to read this in detail regarding electrical fire, so I'll explain later. Regularly inspect and repair faulty electric points and frayed wires used in appliances. See, these are now what is the question regarding this? Mention any 3 safety tips which should be followed. If it is particularly mention any safety tip for the home, you can write this. Avoid playing matchstick, especially gas stoves in the kitchen. If it is, you can write this answer. So this is very important. Otherwise, a general question regarding safety tips, any 4 points you have to remember. Okay. Now we come to, if suppose the paper, wood or plastic catch fire, what can be done? Extinguish it with using water. So to stop the flames, right? So for paper, wood and plastic, we always use water. Use a bucket, a hose or any other available water source to douse the flames. Right. Now if the fire is due to short circuit, what happens? We never use water. See, short circuit means in electrical appliances, what is the reason? Electricity is running through the wires. So whenever there is a short circuit, which means that the normal path of electric current, it does not take that normal path, but if there is a shortcut, it goes there, due to which the voltage or the amount, you can say, of the electricity increases so much that it results into a spark and a fire starts. So in those cases, water should not be used. Why? Because water is a good conductor of electricity. What is the meaning of conduction? See, electricity needs a path to travel. There are some substances through which the electric current can pass easily. So that is called good conduction. Conduction is passage of electricity. There are good conductors, there are bad conductors. Human body is a good conductor, water is a good conductor. So that is why, switches are always made up of plastic. Plastic rubbers are bad conductors. So water cannot be used for electric current. So if we put water, through the water the electric current will reach to the person, and then further it can lead to electrocution, and the person might even die. Electric shock, you can say. Electrocution also called electric shock. So you know what happens is that when electric current enters the human body, why is it harmful? See, our heart beats on a particular type of electrical rhythm. It is also, electrical impulses. A regular pattern has to be maintained of electrical impulses on which our heart is beating. So if from outside the electric current is coming, what is happening? It gets confused which one to follow, or you can say that its own electric rhythm is disrupted by the outside electric current, due to which the heart stops, leading to shock and finally death. So you have to be very careful, not only in case of fire due to electric shocks, but as such also never use wet hands while using electrical switches. Again, the this is why not with wet hands. Like you're going into a bathroom, your hands are wet, you try to switch off the switch with those wet hands, even though the switch is made up of plastic. But still, I said that there is a certain spark always present. Sometimes you never know, there is a faulty switch. So since you have water droplets on your finger, immediately the electric current is going to come towards you through those water droplets. Since water being a good conductor, so it is getting an easy path to flow, so it will come and it will enter into your body. So you have to be very careful, not only in case of fire, but also never use wet hands for switching on, using of switches, like in case of geysers. So never take a bath when the geyser is switched on. So you should always switch off the geyser, because electric current can flow through water. Okay. Now what happens in case of fuels? Now fuels means petrol, diesel and kerosene. Even in those, oh, I did not tell what you have to use in case of fire due to short circuit. What not to use is water. What can we use? We have to use sand. And there are special type of fire extinguishers available, which is not given in the book. So the answer will be sand and uh, fire extinguishers. If the question comes, what to be used in case of fire by short circuit? Fire by fuels, again you cannot use water. Why? See, it's written here as oil is lighter than water, it keeps floating on water and the fire continues to burn. So what happens? The water remains down, the oil is up. Since the oil is catching fire, so the fire will continue. So in this case also we use sand or mud or special type of fire extinguishers. So we have 3 questions here: wood, plastic, paper, water; short circuit, sand, fire extinguishers; fuels, sand, fire extinguishers. Okay. Now what happens if a person catches fire? See, this happens. So there are 3 steps here written: stop, drop and roll. Now what does that mean? See, if someone's clothes have caught fire, so there is a general tendency, he starts running. But we should not run, we should first stop. Why? See, when you are running, what is required for a fire? And further it increases when it gets oxygen from the atmosphere. So air is present. So further air helps, it acts as a fan, which further increases the flame. So air, by running, you are actually fanning the flames. Why to stop? Because running leads to further fanning of the flames. So we need to stop, drop and roll. Now, what is the significance of dropping and rolling? See, what happens is if you cut off the atmospheric air from the surface where the fire is there, the fire will stop. Why? Because it cannot burn without oxygen. So when a person is lying down, what happens is this part of the body which is on the ground, is there anything between the ground and the body? Nothing. But the upper part has contact with the atmosphere. So this part keeps on burning. So the moment you keep on rolling, every part of the body one by one comes in contact with the ground, and then that time there is nothing between the ground and the body. So it helps to cut off the air, or you can say oxygen, to the part where it has flame. So every time you are rolling like this, every time one by one the body part gets cut off from the atmosphere. So this is the this about behind this drop and roll mechanism. How does it stop the fire? And we need to cover the face, because see, when the fire is there are fumes which has poisonous gases. It enters into your mouth and in the lungs. So we always try to protect our nose and mouth. So the first thing is you tell the person to stop, drop down and roll. These are only instant and immediate steps, right? So then once the fire will stop, so the mechanism behind dropping and rolling, I think you have understood. So this is very important. And then we take him to the hospital. See, this symbol has been given which shows that these substances are flammable. They can catch fire easily. So you have to be very careful while handling. Like you never bring it near the matchsticks or candles, and never use lighters. And even in the sun, it's not, when if the temperature is very high, it's very hot. It can, some of the things can even catch fire. Okay, so these are again the same. See, the question can be in the form of pictures or it can be direct questions. Okay, so you have to, by a frayed wire, see, normally have you seen the wires are always having an insulated covering made up of plastic or rubber, so that the electricity is passing through this, but we can get an electric shock, so they are always covered with an insulated material. So in this case, again, sand, water, water and diesel, again sand. Okay, or special type of fire extinguishers. Okay, now we come to internet safety. This topic, I think everybody has computers these days in school, so we have read about this, that internet safety is really very important. What are the do's and don'ts? We have read this in computer science, what should be done and what should not be. So safety tips for: always seek permission from a parent or a guardian before using the internet, especially for new website or apps. Never share personal information online, such as your full name, address, school name, or password. See, this is very important because we have a tendency, we tell the passwords. So you should be very careful. Create strong passwords for online accounts, which is what is the meaning of strong passwords, because it is a combination of letters, numbers, special characters, special symbols, uppercase, lowercase we use. Don't click on links or pictures immediately. We have to ask our parents that whether we should click on the link, because see, whenever you are, say, watching even a movie on a laptop or doing your any study related YouTube video, there are pop-ups which are very interesting and you try to click over there. So you should never do that. You should first ask your parents if you can click on it. Don't share your pictures without your parents consent. Visit only approved websites, games, or apps designated by your parents. If something online makes you feel scared or confused, inform a trusted adult immediately. Now, balance online offline activities, which is very important these days, especially the children are hooked with the laptops and the mobile phones. So, offline activities are always far better. Be cautious when talking to unknown people online. avoid sharing personal information. So this is very important. See, this actually happens. Saying that everybody knows doesn't work. If everybody is so intelligent and knows everything, then cyber fraud would have never occurred. Since it is occurring, so see, human beings get tempted very easily. So you have to be very careful. You think that nothing will happen, but actually these things happen. Okay. Like here it is given, you did not participate in any contest, but you are receiving an email saying you have won a prize. This is very common even on mobile phones. You will have this SMS that you have won a lottery ticket. You click on the link below to avail the prize money, and you click, and then it's a trap. Okay, now we come to the second part of the chapter, first aid. Accidents can happen despite precautions. Knowing is crucial. What to do is crucial. First aid is the immediate assistance given to an injured person before professional help arrives. Now, this is the definition. Why first aid is required? It aims to make the victim comfortable, ease pain, and prevent the condition from getting worse. A small help and the right steps can sometimes save a life. Yes, definitely it can save a life. This has been seen in many incidents. Just those simple steps of first aid can actually save someone's life. So the definition, why first aid? Okay. Now, what is the first aid for cuts and wounds? Cleaning, treating and protecting the wound from infection and further damage. So first of all, apply direct pressure on the affected area with a clean cloth or a gauze pad to stop bleeding. Once bleeding is controlled, clean the wound with mild soap and running water. Use a sterilized gauze pad or clean cloth to remove dirt without scrubbing the wound. Okay. Now, what is this meaning of sterile gauze, which is not infected? See, generally we have those sterile cottons and sterile gauze available at the chemist shop, which are sealed and packed, and you have not opened it. If you open it and keep it anywhere, there are germs in the atmosphere. So once you have touched it, it is not called sterile. So it can carry germs. So sterile means which has been freshly taken out from the packing. Then we have antiseptic lotion solution on the affected area, like we have those betadine lotions. In case of heavy bleeding, use a tourniquet, a piece of cloth tightly wrapped around the wound. See, what is a tourniquet? It is a rubber type of thin tube, which actually we use it in. It's used by the chemist shops or in the hospitals. It helps to stop the blood flow to that area so that the bleeding becomes less. If you don't have a tourniquet, you can even take a thin cloth and then tie it. So for cuts, what we have done, apply direct pressures if it is bleeding, then clean the wound with soap and running water. You remove the dirt, apply antiseptic lotion. In case of heavy bleeding, use a tourniquet. And in case of heavy bleeding, you also have to go further to the hospital. First aid for sprain. Now, what is a sprain? Bone and bone are connected to each other with the help of a fibrous tissue called ligament. When a ligament is damaged, it causes sprain. Suppose you are walking and suddenly your foot gets twisted. Right, you did not see the road was uneven, and there was, even during playing badminton, your foot gets twisted. It can lead to ligament injury. So this is called sprain. It leads to swelling and pain. So in this, what is the main thing? This is a short form called RICE. R-I-C and E. Rest, ice, compression and elevation. These are the 4 steps for sprains which we do. Otherwise, if it comes for filling the blanks, sprain, we do RICE. Okay. So see, movement can further increase. Already that part has been damaged, the tissue. If you move it, it is further going to increase the injury. So we always give rest. So we tell the person, you stop, just sit and take rest. Avoid putting weight on the injured limb. Apply ice. See, ice is also, there is a way of applying ice. We apply for 15 to 20 minutes every 1 to 2 hours for the first 48 hours. This is a very crucial thing which is done, and very informative first aid. 15 minutes every 2 hours it is done, and only for the first 48 hours. After that we don't use ice. Then we have a crepe bandage which is used around the injured area to control swelling, and we elevate. See, elevation is just keeping a pillow and slightly elevating the limb. If you have it on the, say, leg, foot ligament or knee, but then you have to go to the doctor to get it checked. So these steps which are written are only for the purpose of first aid. So remember this RICE, RICE. Now we come to fracture. A fracture is a crack or break in a bone. The first aid for fracture involves minimizing. Again, the movement has to be minimized. Be it sprain, be it fracture, to prevent further damage and reduce pain. Now, so the first step will again be minimize the movement, keep the injured limb or area as still as possible. If a fracture is suspected in an arm or leg, make a splint using available material. See, we do not know when you are giving first aid whether it is a fracture or not. So it's always better to follow those rules considering that it might be a fracture. So give, first of all, immobilize, or you can say the injured limb. We should not move the limb. Number two, make a splint. So what is a splint? Splint is actually, giving support in case of limbs. What can we use? Suppose, see, this picture has been given of this girl. Now suppose if she has a fracture here, so she needs something below to help her to provide support to the arm, to the forearm. So what is available at home? Newspaper. You roll the newspaper so that it becomes thick. Then we have boards, and then you will keep, see, if suppose this is the rolled newspaper like this, you keep it like this, and then you take a bandage and then you start rolling like this, the arm and the newspaper, rolled newspaper, so that it remains in place. So basic purpose is it helps not to move, it helps that it remains still, and also by providing support, some a bit of relief can be given for the time being. Okay. If possible, elevate the limb slightly above the heart to reduce swelling. So, splints are possible only in case of limb injuries or limb fractures, always remember. If possible, elevate the injured limb slightly above the heart again to reduce swelling. So why elevation? If this question comes, you have to remember it helps to reduce the swelling and the pain both. Support the injured area with cushions or pillows to keep in a comfortable position. Apply an ice pack to reduce pain and swelling. Place a barrier between the ice pack and the skin. See, this is also very important. We should never put ice bead on anything directly, because the temperature of the ice, it is very much cold. So whenever you are putting it directly on the skin gets damaged. You always use a ice pack and a cloth in between, so that the coolness is not given to the skin. Okay. Now we have, see, here we have been given what are the functions of tourniquet. Tourniquet we had read, this is tied in order to reduce the blood flow to the area where the bleeding is going on, so that it helps reduce the bleeding. Crepe bandage acts as a compression bandage in case of sprains. Antiseptic cream helps in case of cuts and wounds to prevent infection. Splint is actually a support used in case of fractures to provide support to the fractured limb. Okay. Now we come to first aid for nosebleed. Very common, especially during summers, this happens. So what can we do? Lean slightly forward. Do not tilt the head backwards to prevent blood from flowing down the throat. Pinch the nostrils together just below the bony ridge. See here, in the front portion, the soft portion, we pinch the nose. See, what are we doing? actually. There are small vessels inside the nose. When we try to poke the nose, children have a habit of putting fingers inside the nose, some even the adults too, and they have some nails. It gets a cut there, due to which the bleeding starts. Now, see, outside, whenever we have a cut and if there is bleeding, we try to put pressure. The same mechanism is here. By pinching the nose, we are actually putting pressure on the nose so that the bleeding stops. So we do not release it for 10-15 minutes, and we should not release. Otherwise, if you are keeping on checking ki abhi hua band, is it the blood is coming or not, let me check. So better not to check at least for 10 minutes. Just press it, and the meantime you are breathing with the mouth. Okay, because you have pressed the nose, now you cannot breathe through the nose, and it actually works. What happens is it constricts the blood vessels and stop bleeding. While holding the nostrils, breathe through the mouth. Now, what is the meaning of constriction? See, blood vessel has a diameter. If suppose this is the blood vessels, okay, this was the diameter, and through this the blood is flowing. Constricts means if this was the blood vessel, now it becomes like this. The diameter decreases. Dilate, constrict. Dilate, constrict. So constrict is like this, opposite of constriction is like this. So when the diameter decreases, the blood flow will decrease. This is the mechanism behind pressing. Use an ice pack or cloth on the bridge of the nose. So this is called the bridge of the nose. This one, to reduce bleeding. So ice is cool. So the even anywhere we are using cooling, it leads to constriction of the blood vessels. That is why, and the main purpose of constriction is when the diameter becomes less, the blood flow is less, we are reducing the bleeding. So that is the purpose of constriction. Now we come to minor burns. Okay. It involves immediate action to reduce pain and prevent infection. Minor burn can cause superficial redness. See, this is very common, especially if you ask your mothers in the kitchen. Suddenly, you touch the hot tawa or hot utensil, you get, or even the oil, some drops of oil falling on the skin during cooking. It leads to sudden burn, redness. Sometimes there is blisters are formed. They are superficial swelling which happens on the skin. Only the skin in gets edematous. I mean, it swells and it has fluid inside it. Okay, so what can be done? First and the foremost thing is we should keep that area which has got burned under cool running water for 10 to 15 minutes. It helps reduce pain and prevent the burn from getting worse. Do not use ice. Now, again, when I said the purpose of ice was to reduce the blood flow. Now see, the skin is already damaged. It has got burnt. If we are further reducing here the bleeding is not taking place. Now if we are applying ice, it will lead to constriction of the blood vessels. The blood flow will reduce there, and it will further lead to skin damage, because the skin needs blood at that point. So never use ice in case of burns. In fact, never use those pastes and paste kind of thing also. Any type of toothpaste should not be used. The best first aid for minor burns is always, always, always for 15 minutes, and even more if you want, just put it under cool running water. We never use refrigerated water also. The normal tap water is the best thing. After that, we place an antibiotic ointment to prevent infection. Now, see, there are ointment means those cream which we are using, and antibiotic means which is against the bacteria. Okay, so those ointments are used. Then we cover the burn with clean sterile gauze to protect it from dirt. See, many times we even keep it open, but yes, if it is actually when we cover it, suppose we are doing our work, it might get hit by the table or further cooking, so we are trying to protect that area, so we cover it with a sterile gauze after putting an ointment, depending upon how much it has got burnt. So these first aids are for immediate. Always remember, you need to go to the doctor in any of the things. These are only the immediate measures which you can do at home. Now we come to animal bites. So in this, the first step is, again, if it is bleeding, then you have to press it. Elevate the bitten area. Again, elevation is to reduce the blood flow. Okay. Then we have cleaned the wound with soap and warm water. Rinse it well and pat it dry with a clean cloth. Apply antiseptic ointment to reduce infection risk. And in case of these animals like dogs, cats, monkeys, we have to give a rabies injection. Rabies is a viral disease which does not have any treatment. So you need to give this injection immediately when if there is a dog bite or cat or monkey bite. So need to go to the doctor. And so these are the common steps for insects, bee stings, and animals. So the difference is that for bee stings, we wash the area and we use baking soda, and we use lemon for wasp bites. And for other animal bites, we have to, after we apply the antiseptic ointment, we need to go to the doctor. Okay, now there is a very nice thing here given which is called ABC, which is considered the first aid of some see these. What is the meaning of ABC and where it is used? ABC stands for airway, breathing and circulation. Now this is mechanism which is used in persons who have suddenly got unconscious. The reason may be different. Some people might get a heart attack or shock or many things, right? So EA stands for airway. What does it mean? Airway is a passage through which air enters in the body. Now, what is that passage? Either through the nose and the mouth. So, the first thing, whenever we see an unconscious person, we have to secure his airway. So, what generally do is we need to slightly lift the chin up so that the tongue does not block the back because the person is unconscious. So before this also the first thing actually we do is we first of all see whether the person is responsive or not. Okay, by calling him, shaking him, then we secure the airway. Then what we do, we have to see whether the person is breathing or not. We can, use your fingers and put your fingers in front of his mouth and nose to see whether he's able to breathe or not. Otherwise, we need to give mouth to mouth respiration. Third means circulation. So, which is the circulatory system? Which organ? Heart. So, we have to see whether the heart is working or not. So, for that, we need to see, we have to press the heart. So, this is called a type of CPR, you can say, which is not in class 5 since it is given. So I was trying to explain you, these are the very basic ABC which we try to help in case of unconscious person. Suppose there are people who have suddenly got choking, or there is something stuck in the airway, be it in the nose or mouth. So we try to use our fingers to remove, because he needs to breathe through, the airway has to be secured. Then comes we have to see, then only we can give even mouth to mouth respiration. Suppose if the mouth is being blocked, if there is a foreign body, how will you give? So first airway, that is why always comes, second comes breathing, and the third comes is the circulation. Okay, what else is there in this chapter? See, we have completed this chapter. If we come to the question answers. Okay, minor burn, rinse the burn with warm water. The first step and the most crucial step is this. Nosebleed, lean forward to prevent swallowing. Then we pinch which of the following you should avoid, sorry. So we should never tilt the head back. Okay, the rest three we head back because the blood flows at the back and it may enter the throat. If the clothes catches fire, we said drop, roll, and we stop, drop, and roll. Cooking gas, always open all the windows and doors. Remember it even in case of home. See this chapter, that is why this is for day-to-day life basis and a very important chapter. You should always remember it, not for the purpose of studying but for actual using it for day-to-day purpose. Why should we wear cotton clothes? Because they do not catch fire easily. So which clothes catch fire easily? Synthetic clothes. Always remember, even if you are going to a party and if you are expecting that, ideally people should not use those type of candles even on birthdays which have those fires and those sparkles spreading everywhere. So since you have read this chapter, from now on you are also going to tell your parents, okay, never to use these type of things. We should elevate an injured limb while giving first aid. Yes, it helps to reduce the swelling. Not use water for short circuit. Water is a good conductor of electricity. We can get electrocuted, so we should not use water. We should not use water to put fire because in case of petrol, the petrol being lighter will float above the water and the fire will continue. Sand can be used to put out fires by fuels. Tourniquet should be used to stop heavy bleeding. We should apply what baking soda on a bee bite. Burns can form blisters. Person bitten by dog should be given anti-rabies. See, this anti-rabies is very favorite question. Teachers do ask which is the disease caused by dogs or animal bite. This question can be asked, or otherwise this can be asked that what should be done, why you need to go to a doctor in case of animal bite, because for anti-rabies injection. So what is first aid, why it is important, we have done. See, we had done the question side by side, so I am not repeating it. What is a fracture? First aid, fracture limb, leg always immobilize, means making it stable. Elevate, you can put you have this, you elevate the limb, and then you have we had used this what is called splint. Okay, so immobilize means not allowing to move, that is called immobilization. So you are using a splint bandage. Then we have, as we had seen, elevate, support with cushions and apply a ice pack. Okay, then we have what, sand buckets are kept at fuel stations. Why? Because fuel stations, you should always, you cannot use water, so you have to use sand only. This is the instant immediate. Along with it, yes, definitely we have fire extinguishers, but sand bucket is only because you will write in case of fuel stations, since they are flammable substances, so we can douse the flames in case of fire by using sand. Now he's saying that your friend slips on a hiking trip. So basically you have to write the first aid of a sprain. RICE, R-I-C-E. Okay. Now he's saying the next question, question number 6. You get injured and his or her knee and elbow starts to bleed. Your parents are not at home. What will you do for the first aid? Again, in case of cuts, bleed, the first is you press till the bleeding stops. Then you wash it. You put a antiseptic, you clean it with dirt, clean with the sterile gauze so that there is no dirt. Then you put an antiseptic lotion. Okay, so, and also you can elevate the area and then finally go to the doctor. So see, in this chapter, what is the main thing? You can be asked first aid of individual things which has been given, say in case of burns, in case of fracture, in case of nosebleed, in case of sprain. But you have to remember, if they are saying they have twisted your ankle, or then it means it is sprain, even if they are not directly asking the uh, question of sprain. Now these tech terms are also very important given here. What are blisters? Swollen area, watery and swollen area on the surface of the skin. What is electrocution? So these can be asked. Okay, what else? Yes, you can have odd one out. Suppose they have given 4 things in which 3 are flammable and 1 is inflammable. Which is the odd one out and state reason for it? Then dash is to fractures and dash is to sprain. So we are using splint is to fractures and rise is for sprain, right? Then we have like these questions can be asked. match the following. Dash can be used only in case of flammable, and the safety tips which we do. Internet safety, write 4 do's and write 4 don'ts, or write any do and don't. Okay, I think we have done. Okay.